You walk the damp hallways of the dungeon until you come across a 10 by 10 hallway. You notice that there's some floating armor and weapons in the middle of the room. Upon closer inspection, you notice a gelatinous sheen over those items. The items slowly move closer. Hello and welcome to Harvesting Monsters. Today we're going to be talking about the Gelatinous Cube, one of the most iconic monsters in D&D lore. We're going to be talking about its abilities in Pathfinder, and we're going to think about what could possibly happen if your players wanted to collect materials for magic items from the Gelatinous Cube. So first, let's think about what it's made of. So the Gelatinous Cube is an ooze type monster. It's semi-solid, but it doesn't form a round sphere like most oozes do. In fact, it forms a cube. So what other things form a cube? Well, cubic zirconium and other gemstones can have a cube-like structure to them. So one of the first things I want to put as it drops are, in fact, the jelly crystals. Alright, and what else? Well, their acid doesn't digest metal or stone, so obviously gemstones can be on the list, as well as metal armor and metal weapons. Lastly, they do have an acid, so let's put down that jelly acid as well, because that could be collected. And are we missing anything else? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's perfect for our 2x4 roll charts. Alright, so let's get started. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so first things first, we're probably going to want to put nothing at number 2 and roll twice more for number 8. Now, once again, to use this 2x4 chart, after your players slay the monster, have them roll a check, and if they're successful in harvesting, these are the different things that they could find. You roll 2x4 and say, okay, you harvest this amount of things. So, now, what do we want to appear the most? We want the jelly crystals to appear the most because we want to have plenty of things that resemble the monster. The jelly crystals. Now I'm going to put metal weapons and metal armor here. Alright, so that's going to leave two more things. It's going to leave gemstones and it's going to leave jelly acid. So we're going to put jelly acid here. And we're going to put gemstones here. Alright, so for the gemstones, it's a low-level monster, so I'm thinking 2x10 times 10 gold pieces. And then you could roll a die 6 for color. Maybe you determine what color it is by what dice you grab. You just reach into a bag and like, oh, we got a white dice and a black dice. So you're going to have some jets, you're going to have some pearls, whatever. However you want to determine what color the gemstones are. Now, metal weapons, just choose one. Think about whatever it is. There's not that many. It could be a long sword, it could be whatever. Paint a story. If it's a dwarf last, maybe have it in an axe. If it was an orc that the ooze ate last, maybe it's a falchion, but whatever. Alright, so the jelly crystals. Now the jelly crystals, how many should they get? Well, a Gelatinous Cube usually has about 5 hit dice. That means they roll 5d8 for their hit points, and then they add their constitution modifier times 5. So we want maybe an average of 5. So what if we did 2x4, our good old 2x4, times 2.4 crystals. And each of these crystals, what if they're worth 30 gold pieces each? It's a CR3, they get 30 gold pieces, works out great. Next, metal armor. Again, this is pretty mundane. Maybe roll on a chart, maybe they can get masterwork, even full plate. Full plate at level 3 is about what they can expect. So maybe it was that impressive. Now, next for the jelly acid. We're going to again go 2x4 vials. And the acid, maybe a little bit more valuable at 50 GP per vial, because it is much higher on the charts. There's about a 3 out of 16 chance that they get a 7 on your random roll. So let's make it worth their while. And the acid, we're going to talk about the different abilities. So let's take this and we're going to put it off to the side and think of the different abilities that Gelatinous Cubes have. So they have electricity immunity. Really interesting, actually, that they have immunity. The other thing is they are pretty transparent. You need a DC 15 to see them, or just walk into them. So we're going to put down transparency. And then lastly, they paralyze. And they also deal acid damage. Now, let's take a look. So the jelly crystals, that's their structure. So these are probably going to be the electricity immune and the transparency, the invisibility abilities. So if you want to make an invisibility potion, or you want to make resistance to electricity, maybe search out a Gelatinous Cube and try to get some jelly crystals. Now, for the acid, this is where the paralysis comes in. So if you want to do hold person, or you want to add acid damage, this is a great place to put it. So paralysis and acid damage. Now, I'm going to actually make a little potion, which I'm going to call the Cubic Cloud Cover Potion. And this is going to use the jelly crystals, because it's going to give electricity resistance and +5 to stealth. It's going to make them cloudy. It's not going to make them invisible, but it is going to obscure their sight so that they can hide better. Okay, so let's think about it. If we give it electricity resist 10, that's air resist energy spell. So that's nice and easy to calculate out. 3 times 2 times 50, because it's a potion. It's one-time use. Now, skill checks, we're going to actually have to do a little bit of work, because if we look at our chart here, we actually can see that there's not really potion for skill checks. So those skill checks, we're going to have to do a little bit of back and forth. So if we see use activated for a spell, it's 2,000. We're actually going to means you can divide by, we're just going to divide by 2, or divide by 10. It's going to be 1/10 the cost. So normally it is the skill bonus, which is going to be 5 squared times 100, but we're going to divide that by 10. So it's going to be times 10. All right, so let's bring out our handy dandy calculator. 3 times 2 times 50 equals 300, naturally. Eventually, you'll have this memorized, that second level spell, is worth 300 gold pieces for a potion. And then we're going to add this. So it's going to be 25, so it's going to be 250. Now, these are unlike abilities. If you have unlike abilities on the same magical item, you have to multiply the cost of the lesser item by 1.5. So 250 times 1.5 equals 3750. So our total is going to be 675 for our cubic cloud cover potion. And every wizard is going to put this potion in a cube bottle, because why wouldn't you? All right. Thank you for watching this episode of Harvesting Monsters. I hope you enjoyed it. Please go and watch everything else in the playlist. And if you have a request for a monster that you would like me to create a drop chart for and a magical item revolving around them, please leave it in the comments below and I will get to it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.